channel. So I have a bit of a like different location for this video, but I just wanted to record why I had like this message on my mind, so it kind of can come from like a really authentic place, I guess. But yeah, so I'm gonna get right into the video. This is gonna be a short intro. I just really want to get right into talking, but basically this video is about leveling up and what it takes, just like little things that you should do to like, you know, like healthy habits type things to start, that I started implementing, and it really just like changed my whole world. So thought I would share. So if you're interested, keep watching, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back, or welcome for if you're the first time. Like my other videos, subscribe, share, whatever you're feeling. And so the first one I have is setting boundaries. I found myself getting treated poorly, or like not how I wanted to be treated, simply because I didn't set boundaries with the people around me and say, hey, I don't appreciate that. Hey, I don't like when you do this. Like when I started literally saying, I will not tolerate anything less than this, and I will let you know when this isn't like good for me, this doesn't feel right for me. When I started doing that, it changed everything. Like people literally will treat you how you want to be treated. You just have to make it like, hey, no, like I'm not getting treated anything less than this right here. So this is the bare minimum, and there's only you only go up from here. And honestly, you have to be that strict and that like, hey, with yourself and with others, so then you can like set yourself up for like success. But you gotta like set those boundaries. And the way I just implemented these is I didn't just like say, hey, I'm setting boundaries today, like I figured it out. No, I really just sat down and thought about every situation and every like relationship I have in my life, and I like debated, hey, is this equally yoked? Is this more for them? Is this a relationship more for me? Like what are my relationships? Define your relationships first. And then once you do that, then you're like, okay, this doesn't make me like warm and fuzzy. This doesn't help me grow. So how can this relationship help me grow? And if I can't find a way for it to help me grow, then you cut it off. Well, I cut it off, and you know, but if you can, you just basically say like, hey, I'm not going to let them talk to me any kind of way anymore. Then you go to them. The second they try to come and talk to you, flip and fly, you be like, hey, that's not cool with me. That does not make me feel good. Be very upfront, be very blunt, and be very thorough about what you mean, how you feel, and what you want moving forward. So next one was, sometimes you're the toxic person. And everyone kind of has these toxic traits that we don't want to address. But those toxic traits are what's keeping us from our next level and our blessings. So I had to really sit down with myself and be like, you're experiencing the same situation over and over. There's one common denominator, and it's you. So literally just self-evaluating and self-reflecting and literally being honest with yourself and checking yourself for like the wrong stuff you be doing, like the stuff that you be like, oh, it's not really hurting nobody. Like it's just like the little white lies. I am like queen of little white lies. But I'm getting better, so growth. Thank you. Thanks. But yeah, like it's literally every little toxic thing. And sometimes in a lot of situations, you think that someone did you dirty, but you gotta like evaluate what you had to play, like what part you played in that too, because sometimes you're the toxic person. And it's like once you finally realize, hey, like this was toxic, I was toxic in this situation, you're able to like forgive people. You have no like hateful stuff in your heart, no grudges, because you're like, there was two sides to every story. There was like two people who played a part, and it's like, I'm accepting my part. I forgive myself for my part. I forgive you for your part. And you're able to just move forward with things way easier than when you're like, oh my gosh, they did me so dirty and I just played no part because I'm an angel. Come on now. Like, okay, yeah. Because I've been there. The only reason I can say it so freely is because that was me for so many years. I'm just like, well, these people did me dirty and they just tried me and this, I'm this way because of them. And like, no, it's what I allowed to let happen. So at least like take ownership of that. Like you allowed some stuff to happen. So yeah. So check yourself is what I'm trying to say. Check yourself. This is another one that I just recently started like adamantly doing, like religiously doing, is speak it into existence. And don't just like bluntly say it or like broadly say it. Vividly, every detail, say it. Like if you want something, say it down to the T. Like detail it to the date. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like not saying that it's going to happen on that date, but like speak it into existence. Over the summer, I want to open my own business and I want to have this already established and I want to have this many employees and I want to this, you know what I'm saying? Like, speak it into existence, put it everywhere you see it, like post it everywhere. Like, I like vision boards, so I don't know, like I want to be able to see things every day, so I do like post-it notes and vision boards everywhere, so like it's vividly in my head and I'm speaking it and I'm like already receiving it and then I'm thanking God for it already being mine. That changes everything. You are able to work harder, walk in it, you're able to believe in it way before it even happens. Like, you're able to just really be grateful for it when it does come to fruition, because you're like, this is what I was like, this is what I said, this is what I spoke into, this is what I put life into. Also, affirmations. Speak life into yourself every day. Like, speak it vividly. Say, I am strong, I am worthy, I am smart, I am like, oh, I am, whatever you are, just say it and like mean it and be bold and stand in it and walk in it. And yes, that's what I'm saying. Speak it into existence and speak affirmations over yourself and over your loved ones. Everybody, speak it into existence. So this is something I've always just loved doing, just because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy, but little acts of kindness. And I'm not saying like go out and do something for somebody. That's also great. But even little things like you're at the store and your cashier person is like, scanning you out or whatever, checking you out. You say, hey, how's your day going? Hey, how are you doing today? Or thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Like, just overly like sweet and nice to like people who just don't even know you, who would even like who couldn't care less if you did or not. Those type of things, for one, they'll make you feel better as a person, and for two, it probably will light up their day. Like, oftentimes when I do it, they're like, thank you for asking, or I'm great, thank you, how are you? It's just like a nice little kind gesture exchange, and it just warms everything, and it puts great vibes into the world, which I think ultimately brings it all back to you. So, do it. Okay, this one is huge. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition, because you know more than you actually give yourself credit for, and you believe in a bunch of different things, but you know you best, you know life best, and you like have all the answers. So if you would just trust your gut, like that little feeling you get when it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right, trust it. If it feels great, trust it. Even if everybody else is like, nah, that ain't gonna work, but you feel it and you're like, nah, that's gonna work. Trust that. Do not let anybody tell you that you're wrong when you have that gut feeling, because honestly, it's literally your subconscious telling you, hey, this is the right direction, or hey, don't do that. And then later on, you're going to realize that it was the right thing, So what I really learned is trust your gut. Your gut is always right. Trust it, trust it, trust it. And I'm not by any means saying that like anything that actually hurts you or like any traumas you experienced are your fault. But I'm saying is there are often times where we like to play the victim, and you kind of have to, like, every situation in your life and everything, at some point, you have to take ownership and be like, okay, but I'm not going to let this weigh me down anymore. And I'm not going to let this affect me. And I'm not going to let this be my crutch on why I can't do things now and the way I am now and all this stuff. Because, like, the way you are is your choice. The way you are is what you're accepting, and what you decided is how you're going to be. You can always flip the script. You can always make a plot twist. You can always change. So if you're a certain way, it's not because of what happened to you 30 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago. It's because you're choosing to be. What I'm basically saying this point is being able to take situations for what they are and forgive others, but also love on the ones who hurt you. Because often times it's because they were hurt themselves, or they weren't capable of giving what you were giving, and it was just a bad situation. But people grow, people change. So what I've learned is don't hold grudges. Take things as a grain of salt, and like see people for where they are, not for what you expect them to be or where you needed them to be, but where they were and where they are. And then love on those who hurt you, because then you can see them as a person. Like they're not that pain. They are a person who has a life and has experiences, and just so happen to inflict some harsh pain on you, but you don't have to hold on to it. So going back to how I was checking myself and like self-reflection and just like realizing my toxic traits, I went back to like situations of former people that were in my life that I really like cut out in a very negative way, and I just kind of like had this, I don't want to say hatred towards them, but it was just like ugh towards them. And then when I look back on the situation, there was often times when I'm like, but you played a part too, Ty. Like, but they weren't in it alone. And for you to be so high and mighty and say that they hurt you, it kind of makes it like, but did they though? Like, was it just them hurting you, or did you hurt you too? Because you allowed some things to happen that you know shouldn't have happened. You allowed them in. You just gave room for this to happen and all like the hurt to happen. Not saying that you're responsible for things that hurt you. Last thing is simple, and you hear it all the time, but hold your people close. Hold your loved ones close, because you just never know. And I'm always that person who was like, oh, well, you know I love you. Like, oh, you know it. I'm not going to say it. Like, I don't have to be, because I was never really overly emotional until I got older. Like, in my, like, later teenage years did I finally get, like, some emotion. But I've always be like, oh, yeah, like, brother, you know I love you. Friend, you know I love you. Now I'm like, no, like, let me tell you to your face, eye to eye, I love you. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so grateful for you. Now I hold my family and friends' hands. Like, I hold them for long periods of time. I hug them for long periods of time. Like, eye contact. I want you to know that, like, you mean something to me. Don't ever want you to have to be like, well, I know it. I want you to hear it. I want you to be like, oh, no, I know Ty loves me. I know Ty cares about me. So that's something I really think people should do. Be overly for your people.